Hello and good evening, everyone. Yes, today we are doing an evening daily video because I was resting most of the day and I could not for the life of me get up. But as you could hear from my voice, I am well rested. And while I was having dinner today, I was like, what is it that I want to talk to them about on YouTube today? And what God has placed in my heart is that there are times of isolation during transformation. And I'm currently in that time right now. And it's not even like being away from family or friends, but there's like this longing that I just have not gotten myself to do it, which is turn off Instagram and Facebook. And I have been an avid like Instagram fan and Facebook fan for Facebook since 20, like the early, okay, maybe 2008. I have been like an active user. My mom was super strict with going out like in high school, so I was always home like chatting away with my friends on Facebook, or like whenever I had time to hang out with my cousin, my best friend cousin, we were like taking photos all the time and uploading. And then when Instagram came around, like let's say I think 2013, ever since that came around, I've been like hooked. So it's been more than a decade of like being on these social media platforms. And I cannot recall if I ever really took a break, like a mental break. But now, I guess since I'm sharing that with you guys, like that's a huge revelation. Like, have you taken time off of Instagram or Facebook? I met when I was in Costa Rica, I met one of the founders of Alexa, and he told me how important it was to like stay away from like the social media stuff. And of course we had a deeper conversation, but that's not my story to tell. But I think that now with everything that's happening, I truly do believe that I have a different calling besides being on social media or Facebook, because I have been reflecting in my journal, like, why am I isolated physically and how is this going to affect me mentally? God has isolated me many times in my life, but this one feels different. As I've shared with you guys, I am isolated because I want to write my memoir and get things done. And there's a sense of renewal. The word joy pops up in my mind, but also resilience. It's like I'm preparing for something that's about to happen, and I could feel it so strongly. And speaking of like clarity in regards to Instagram and Facebook, I've been spending more time on YouTube, like listening to sermons or watching interviews, specifically Bad Bunny interviews. And I'm just fascinated by the trajectory of his career and how he has stayed so true to himself this whole entire time. And it's just like inspiring to not have to shrink. Like, I know as first gens and minorities, we try our best to like keep our culture and never back down. But his level, I'm just like, okay, good reminder. And I'm playing his songs before my meetings or before work. But yeah, are you right now in a time of isolation, or are you in a time of wanting to gather with friends and people? Yeah, that's the big question that I have right now. And for me, I'm definitely in a time of isolation, you guys. And I think that right now, in the areas that I could feel God working through me in isolation is, oh my gosh, having flashbacks to the strongest parts of me, which is when I was 25 years old, like wanting to travel the world and having all of these dreams. But also, like, I was filling out my resume today and I was like, I did that and I forgot about, not forget, but like, I guess I've minimized the stuff I've done in the past. But in this time of isolation, I'm just remembering it's like I had amnesia or something. I don't know if it was because I was in my dissertation mode, or because I was fleeing a state because of racism. But anyways, it's the remembering. So in this time of isolation, I am remembering my own strength and resilience. I'm always often thinking about my mom and my grandma as well in regards to resilience and strength. But I think that's the big question. It's like, what lesson are we learning in time of isolation? And what peace is it bringing? It's not just peace of like drowning out the noise physically, but I also see it seeping in my mind of drowning out noise like mentally. And that's the big win in this time of isolation. Like I'm not absorbing all the noise that is happening. How do I word this correctly? I am so aware of what's happening. I am keeping up maybe 1 to 2 hours a day, but it's not knocking me down, if that makes sense. It's not wrecking. Okay, so in terms of clarity, it's not wrecking my nervous system, at least not today. Maybe it was a few weeks ago because I was like, that's a lot, and that's triggering a lot of like childhood trauma. But in terms of clarity, one of the biggest and most important quotes I've heard recently is finding clarity through the mess. You have to really get through the mess and show up to the mess first before you find clarity. And yeah. So I'm going to say in times of isolation, there is this type of discipline that's required. It's requiring us to say no to things, even when there are distractions right in front of us, may it be a person or an event. In times of isolation, it requires us to have a type of discipline. Like right now, I'm showing up on YouTube, and then I have to go show up to the pages when I go and write my 500 words for my memoir. And like I told you guys, this one has been my biggest challenge, but saying no to Instagram and Facebook, like I have just been tempted to post more on like my close friends' stories and like update, but I think now that I've spoken it out loud and shared with y'all, I'm gonna have to use my app called Opal to block off the apps because there is a business tied to my Instagram, my content creation stuff, but I am only allowed to go on if I'm creating. Okay, but saying no to doom scrolling for reals, and it just feels like a big, like even saying that out loud, I'm like, dang, I told you guys, so now I have to go and do it. Because I've been telling my best friend and my sister, but things that are definitely allowed during this time is YouTube and like watching Bad Bunny and sermons and like actual learning, which has been so good for me, to be honest. I've been learning more about like flying drones and like tutorials and just learning new skills. And how are we going to use these social media things to our advantage, right? But YouTube's such a good way to learn new skills. So in times of isolation, we're not supposed to, well, at least for me, I feel like I'm not supposed to just sit here, but I'm like a student of God and the universe and the world again, but in a way that's like so clear that I could actually watch something and absorb something and learn a new skill. And it's being a student of life. And that is where I'm going to leave off this video. Please let me know or share with me if you are currently in a time of isolation or what you're feeling like where you are at in your era in life. Thank you for listening this far. It's starting to rain. Gosh, I know I'm supposed to say bye, but I'm so excited For whatever is happening this summer. I haven't decided where to go around in the world yet, but I cannot wait to take you guys on that adventure. But thank you guys for listening. And I believe today is day 20. It's either day 20 or day 21. That means it's a habit now. But thank you guys for listening, and I wish you guys a very good evening. Bye.